Hey guys, what's up? Scottish Duck here once again, and once again I'm sporting this lovely Sonic top that my dad bought me. Keep in mind I'm a 23-year-old man, so as soon as my dad gives me this, every Saturday, right, I take my granny into town because she's disabled and, you know, I'm our official driver, so I do that to help out my granny out. But my mother came with me, and my mother bought me this. Fucking Sonic belt buckle. I'm starting to worry what my folks actually think of me, or whether they're taking the piss or something. Maybe they figured a guy, that 23-year-old man that makes videos of his with his crappy camera sitting on a really minging couch. This is just the stuff that he likes. I don't know. In any case, that's not what this video is about. This is my review / thoughts on Tales of Grace's F. Okay. I had the game since last Thursday. That was the August 30th, yeah. And I beat it in 9 whole days. And over those 9 whole days, I played for 55 hours. So yes, I was very busy. Whenever, like... Amy, shut the fuck up. I'm making a video. Anyway. I'm sure all of you know this about me by now, you know? Like, a certain game will come out and I don't think of anything else, you know? I'll make video after video after video about it. Examples being like The Last Story, you know? Which, incidentally, was my game of the year, but, what can I say? I'm a sucker for the fucking Tales of games, so, And yeah, so I've been doing this non-stop and looking up stuff about it, listening to music, watching like other gameplay videos. This is definitely a game that took over my entire week. It really did, and it was worth every fucking minute, guys. This is a brilliant game. Okay, now for those of you who don't know a little bit of backstory, I'm sure I don't need to explain what the Tales of series actually is at this point, but Tales of Graces was released in 2009 for the Wii, but only in Japan, you know? But then in 2010, Namco, you know, and they do this a lot with the Tales of games, they decided to re-release it on a different console with some additional content. That being Tales of Graces F, the PS3. Now, that additional content, I want to specify this right here, right now. You've got the whole game that was the Wii game, you know? We're going to call that the Wii portion. But once you beat that, you know, you beat the final boss, you're treated to like a 10 or 15 hour long segment, which is entitled Legacies and Lineages. I think that's what it's called, but basically, the F in Tales of Grace's F stands for future, and this, like, little story, it takes place in the same world, has some exclusive dungeons, but it takes place after the events of the main game, and gives you a wee bit of background, and a wee bit more insight on what the characters were doing after the main game. Now, I gotta say, the Wii portion alone, when I got to the ending, I didn't feel too compelled by it, you know. It was good, but it wasn't the most satisfying thing I'd ever played. With the added like F portion, you know, the future section, I gotta say it really did, you know, round up quite nicely for me. The last boss was a bit more epic, and you know, the storyline just made you feel all warm inside after that. So I can safely say, like, after not even playing it, that this, in terms of story, is definitely better than the Wii version. Yeah, but the story itself, you know, it's your typical Tales of stuff. Tales is essentially a playable anime, so the storyline's mega over the top, there's shitloads of exposition, the characters are all really well done and designed, you know, you'll really like all of them, and yeah, there's underlying drama and romance, and you know, you can't really explain the storylines of JRPGs in a few sentences, you know, because they've just always got so much to them. What I will say, however, right, I just want to piss and moan about this for a while. You know how a typical JRPG cliche is that the main villain of the story wants to wipe out humanity and start the world anew, so he's actually doing good in his own head, but the main characters all group together and show, no, humanity is good, okay? You know, that sort of cliche is in a lot of fucking games. And I kind of realised Tales of Grace's F does this, you know? But none of the other Tales of games really did it. From the ones I can remember anyway, you know, Abyss didn't do it, Symphonia didn't do it. You know, it was all about... So, you know, that's just when you're looking at it purely subjectively, you're just like, huh. But in its execution, it was still quite good. Not the best I'd seen, but still, yeah. But that's enough about the story. The battle system has been completely redone from other Tales of games, you know. Past games stuck with a fairly strict, you know, pattern of, you know, always having to tap buttons, occasionally use an item, going from place to place, and, you know, it wasn't, they didn't really mix up the formula that much over the years. Well, Tales of Grace's F is where they decided to completely redo everything. The battle system takes place primarily from over the character's shoulder, and you can do a lot more different combos and that. I could go on for a while about it, but I'm just going to say that the battle system, it took a while to get into, but it was really, really well done, and you get really into it every time a battle comes up and stuff. I'm not sure if I prefer it to the older style, because let's face it, we've played it a lot and we all love it for that. But it's a nice... I really appreciate the fact that they tried to innovate and make it different, so no objections from me there. How the game is actually structured is different as well. Usually you'd go from town to town via a big huge open world map, and partway through the game you'd get some sort of vehicle so that you could fly all over the world map to get from place to place really quickly. Well, Tales of Grace's F adopts something different, and apparently this was used in the Japan-only Tales of Hearts game for the DS. That's just what I heard. I can't confirm that, but whatever. Towns are actually connected via pretty linear corridor, you know, roadways, and you know, you just go from them, fight enemies and that, and then you get to your next town and or dungeon. And you know, this is just how it does it. It's not a world map, it's just like linear corridors, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. I mean, neither scenario is particularly bad, but it felt kind of like subtraction, you know, taking away the big huge world map. I don't know, I have to sit on that a bit more, but yeah, that's how you traverse from town to dungeon here. There's no like overworld map that you can freely explore. Once you do unlock this game's equivalent to the flying machine, you can fast travel to any dungeon or town, you know, instantly when you want. And the inclusion of fast travel is really convenient, you know, but it doesn't really give you the chance to explore those like sections in between the towns that much, because you'll be kind of caught up using the fast travel. But in any case, it still modernizes. That's my favorite word right now, isn't it? It's definitely modernizing its original formula. I can actually always compare the Tales of series to the Legend of Zelda series, in the sense that while it still mainly has the same basic structure with each game, they keep adding little things, little cool innovations right here to keep it always feeling fresh and keep it innovating, you know? And that is what Tales of Grace's F does better than any other game to date, really. Music is pretty standard, you know. Tales of series has never like blown my ears away in terms of its music. It's, you know, it's just kind of there, you know. I'm not dissing it. It's just kind of there. Voice acting is still really good, you know. They don't skip on the localization with this series. You know, it's the dialogue is hilarious. The voice acting is all really well done. And yeah, again, there's a lot of voices. I mean, you guys familiar with the skits from the Tales of series? You know, those little like funny things that come up randomly during gameplay. There's over 400 skits in this game, all fully voiced. Okay, that's like over hours of voice work that must have went into this. It's actually quite insane when you think about it. I commented on this in my first impressions, but the graphics coming off of it, I can definitely say that this game looks better than Tales of Vesperia, which was a 360 exclusive for a while. Even though there are some sections where you can tell, yeah, they just took that right from the Wii version and dumped it there and upscaled it. There are parts like that, like if you look at the world map for a bit, you can tell those mountains look affy jaggy. But even then, it's not terrible looking. Aesthetically, it's all there, as it is in every Tales of game. So yeah, definitely not a bad looking game if that's what you're thinking. If you're thinking this is like the Wii's sloppy seconds right here, you're wrong. It's a very, very pretty game. As I said previously, the game will run you at least 50 hours. And I don't even do any side quests. Whenever I play like an RPG like this, I tend to just go all the way through the main sort of storyline, and then if I feel like it, I'll go back and do side quests. And I was doing that for a bit here, but New Game Plus is like, this is kind of the case with all the Tales of games. It's always bugged me. Whenever you go into New Game Plus, you have to choose, you're limited as what you can choose to bring into the new game, and you can't bring in your level. At least I don't think so. I didn't have enough points to bring over my level anyway, so you literally have to start for like level 2, 3 at the beginning of the game again. It's annoying. I also said this in my first impressions as well, but the beginning of the game was boring as fuck to me, where you actually played as the main characters when they were kids. I couldn't stand that part of the game. I just wanted to get right to the main bulk, and it just seemed to drag on for me as a result. So, thankfully, you can skip that in New Game Plus. You can actually spend grade on skipping the adult portion of the game, and I was like, thank you, that's awesome. So, yeah. Is this the best Tales of game to date? To be honest, yes, you know. Again, I made that comparison to Legend of Zelda. This is a series that keeps, you know, like, innovating in that. So it makes logical sense that the latest in the series is always the best. But, in the same token of regard, your first one was always like the one that will hold with you the longest. And for me, that's still Tales of the Abyss, even though it technically wasn't my first. I just couldn't get any of them that much before I got into Tales of the Abyss. But yeah, I at least say that this is definitely my second favourite. And that's no small feat, because this, I'm riding on the sense that Tales of the Abyss is probably never going to get replaced for me. And with that said, I'm really looking forward to Tales of Xillia coming next year. You know, this has only been out for a week and already I want more. I'm actually currently playing Tales of Innocence. Anybody play this? It was only released in Japan, but there's a fan translation out there. Just Google it, and yeah. And Namco, you want to stop this, you gotta release the games over here, you know what I'm saying? Tales of Innocence R, seriously, bring that shit over, I'll buy it. So, yeah. That's all we got to say there, guys. Again, brilliant game. I urge you, just as I urged you to buy, like, the Operation Rainfall games, go out and support this one. It really deserves it. You know, the Tales of series does not get as much credit as it deserves, in my humble opinion, at least outside Japan. And I really do want to see it do well. So, yeah. That's that, guys. See you after. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.